So this is a video on how I do my layouts and my coin purses. Just like that, it's folded in half. So I start with graph paper, just regular basic graph paper you can get from Walmart, Staples, Home Depot, or Home Depot, Office Depot. Just 1/4 inch graph paper, which the grids are 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch. And then normally how I start is, it depends on what kind of coin purse you're making. So most coin purses, you got to figure out the size of it. Most times I only make it as big as the card, which is roughly 3.5 inches by 3 inch, roughly, for a card. But it all depends on what size you make it. Figure out your half dimensions for your coin purse. So whatever length you make it, so 5 inches, make it 5 inches wide, 4 inches wide, 3 inches wide. But typically what I do is, for my smaller coin purses, I do it 3.5 inches wide, or at the widest I go 4 inches wide. So you make your center line here, and you measure out 2 inches this way, or what was that, 1.75 inches, one direction and one direction out from your center line. So let me just show you that real fast. You should have a really good ruler. So figure out your center line, make a point on top, follow it down, make another point, and just draw your straight line. I'm using a marker for this just so you guys can see it a little easier. So make your center line. As you can see, that's the center. So that's the center of the coin purse. Let's go make a mini. So we measure out from the center out 1 1.75 inches. 1.75 inches. So that'll make it 3.5 inches wide. And this is for a mini coin purse, and it's just wide enough for a card, an ID card or credit card. Same thing as well, if you're going to go bigger, just make it that much bigger. Just figure out what it is by half. If you're going to go 2 inches or 4 inches, then you go 2 inches over. But I leave a 1/2 inch spacing for my border. And I mark that as well. So mark your 1/2 inch for your sides. From the outside in, measure in 1/2 inch. And that 1/2 inch is there for this border edge here, that detail. And you'll do the same for this curve too, as well. But once you get that centered, then you want to figure out what the center is of your paper and mark that just somewhere general. And then I measure out another 1/2 inch, which in this case is 2. Two lines. So this is a 1/2 inch here, and this is a 1/2 inch here, which equals 1 inch total. And that's for the zipper. I'm trying to be right. Zipper. And this little square is the bottom as well. The bottom section. So from the side pieces here is where you're going to measure up for your height of your coin purse. And for me, this one here is 3.5 inches, and that's a good size. But on my mini ones, I usually go about 3 inches, which is not bad. I think that's right. So 3 inches. So you just mark the middle, the center line here, do 3 inches on top. And then from there, I normally go for my compass. If you have a compass, that's cool. Go use that. If not, then you can find yourself like a 1/4 or something round and just round off your edges. Or if you have a, I don't know what this is, artist loft circles, then just round your corners off, and then you can make yours of that. and just compensate for the circles here. But to get my curves, I actually use a compass, and I have it set for 4.5 inches. If you guys may be wondering that. So from the point to where this comes out is 4.5 inches, as you can see. So I'll put on my point here at the 3-inch mark, and I put it there, and I make my mark. Then I go down another 1/2 inch, make sure it's on the center line, and make my mark. So 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, so using that whole 1/2 inch spacing all around. Same thing the other side, put it on a mark, and make my arch. The other side as well, go down 1/2 inch, and make my mark. So it gives me that 1/2 inch border all around. As you can see on this example, that's why there's 1/2 inch border all around my piece. I got my cap, but I did a 1/2 inch border all around it, so it gives me that nice uniform edging I need. And then this intersection here, not from the bottom, but this center part here will be your design area. Depends on what you want to do, just make sure it's a scale appropriate for what you're doing. So once I have that, then I space out about an 1/8 inch, not 1/8 inch, yeah, about an 1/8 inch around the edging. Of my piece. So 1/8 inch on both sides, 1/8 inch on top. And the reason for that is actually for my edging. So it's my edging line. So I space on 1/8 inch for my edging line, and I marked that as well. So there's a lot of measurements and a lot of things going on in this, but it actually does help out at the end when you're assembling your piece. Some may look like a bunch of lines and scribbles and that, but as long as you have these 1/8 inch lines around for spacing, as you can see, mine has an 1/8 inch spacing for it, and this is where I bead to at the end. This is my beading edge, my final line, my final design line, and my zipper and lining bit that I sewed to. So all this is for my edging, so I keep that really nice uniform edging around it. So all around you keep that line for basically your final cut line. This part here, final cut line for edging. So you can roughly just cut out anyhow you want. Like I said, this one's just roughly cut, so it'll be sewn to your felt or whatever material you use to bead on. I use Pellon 70. I get from Joann's, or you find it at Walmart. Just look it up, Pellon 70, and that's what I use. And I just tack the graph paper down to it. As you can see, it's tacked down roughly every 3/4 to 1/2 inch all around. You can see in the back, I do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of it up and down, and I just sew over it. The paper doesn't come off, the paper stays, just so I can keep all my lines straight. It's, you can see in other videos, but that's roughly what the layout is for it. So like I said before, if you're gonna do a coin purse, just know your half design, whatever the width is gonna be, know that, so you can figure out from the center out what it's gonna be and your height. So you can make it 5 inches you want across. It's gonna be 2.5 inches wide by whatever height you're gonna go, and just figure out from there. And you can lay it out just the same way, and then cut it out the same. But just leave your spacing here. Usually 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch, just for the zipper to go around. So that's the only part you got to leave on. So when it folds in half, this bottom section here is a zipper line, and this is the design part of it. So just make sure you have everything kind of detailed and laid out. So hopefully this helps. If you have any more comments or anything else you need to know about the layout section, then just comment below, then I can get back to you and hopefully explain a little better to you, or make another video upon the question that's you guys give. So thank you.